you, everybody. Thank you so much. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
How are we doing?
Great.
Anybody been down to the boardwalk today? Yeah, but this week? Yeah, I went down today for my boardwalk makeover. Yeah, I don't get any work done, but if you're ever feeling bad about yourself, you're not pretty enough, you're not handsome enough, go down to the boardwalk, you'll feel great. Oh, there are some ugly people down there. Really ugly people. I mean, wow. And, okay, I'm 6 months pregnant, thank you. But I feel like a supermodel every time I go by Thrasher's. You see that? They serve French fries with a front-end loader. And I said, I woke up there, hey, lady, the doctor said get some exercise, not extra fries. It's terrible. And who's dressing these people down at the boardwalk? Helen Keller? I mean, come on, look at some of them. My God. And I love the beach. I actually live here about 4 months out of the year. I'm just right up the street on 110th if you're on 94th. So it's not by itself. Okay. So, but I'm up there, I'm up in the condo, and I love it because I love the beach traditions. I have dated online. Anybody who has dated online, you have put in your profile, I like romantic moonlit walks on the beach. Nobody takes a moonlit walk on the beach. I live on the beach. I don't see anybody taking a walk. But one night, I had a date, and I thought I would try it. We're walking along hand in hand. It's so romantic, it's so wonderful, until I step in a sinkhole up to my crotch. I am buried in the sand. It cannot get any worse. Of course it can. What's coming down the beach but one of those beach cleaners they run every night? Right at me. So I say, hey, look, I'm stuck, I cannot get out, I'm a goner, save yourself. Just at the last minute, I roll out. I'm standing there, glistening in the moonlight, all sandy, and I think, you know what? At least I'm gonna get some pity sex. So I say to her, hey, you wanna go back to the condo and fool around? She looks at me glistening in the moonlight, says, Ken, you're a sweet guy, but you're far too abrasive. Yeah. Now another issue, and I know some of you are gonna be upset about this because it runs about 10 to 1, but we came this close last year, this close, to allowing for equality for women in Ocean City, Maryland. We were this close to allowing a topless beach in Ocean City. It's time to free the puppies, people. Yeah, that's usually the reaction I get. And because our town council acted very quickly to pass an ordinance to outlaw it, because we are a family resort. Yep, we're a family resort. I noticed that just driving down the street today, after I went by Tail Chasers, then I came to Big Peckers. Oh, and then what was it? It was BJ's, and then Brass Balls, and then I ended up with a bearded clam. Yeah, we are a family resort. And I'll tell you something, they ruined my business. I had rented a kiosk on the beach, right where they were going to have the topless beach. I was going to rent binoculars. It was called In the Nip of Time. And I had to close it down. Hated it. I also noticed the changes that have gone over the years. It used to be we went to the beach, we spread a blanket. Then we carried around the chairs. Then the umbrellas. Then what popped up? The tents. And first they were 10 by 10 little canopies. Then it was a tent from Cabela's, Sleeps about 4. The other day I'm walking down the beach, I saw a tent. It said Bornham and Bailey on it. Next to it's another tent. That was the in-law quarters. No, it's like a construction site there in the morning watching everybody dragging their stuff in. And people do not use common sense at the beach. I'm coming down the condo elevator. I'm carrying a golf bag and a box of golf balls. There's a guy on the elevator. We all know what he's going to say to me. Are you going to play golf? Oh, no. I'm going fishing. Fishing with golf clubs? Yeah. I take the golf club, I wade into the water, hit the fish over the head. But why do you have the golf balls? Ah, seagulls, perfect pitching wedge. He believed me. I get off the elevator, he says, make sure you throw back the little ones or you'll get in trouble. That is the beach for you, folks. Hey, I always like to do this in a small crowd, but there's always a chance. So everybody in the audience tonight having a birthday. Any birthdays tonight? By applause. Any anniversaries? Wedding anniversaries. Every year we get a few people here celebrating their first wedding anniversary. How bad is your marriage going if you're here on the night of your first anniversary? I mean, really, folks. And why everybody celebrating early release from prison? Or anybody headed to prison tomorrow? Well, since we don't have any special event, I'm going to take the special event again tonight, because for the 4th time this summer, I became a grandfather. And I love my grandchildren. I love my grandchildren, especially the 2 who can't talk yet. Oh yeah, because once they talk, you have no secrets. I'm coming down the elevator again. There's a man on the elevator, a little girl with them. She's wearing a beautiful princess bathing suit, princess shoes. So I'm a grandfatherly type. I go over and say, "Oh, are you going to the beach?" "No, I've been to the beach. My dumb daddy lost the key to the condo." Yeah. And if anybody in here has young children, you might know that these days in daycare, they teach them sign language. Did you know that? They teach them sign language so they can communicate with the staff. So when Sadie wants something, she goes like this. If she's had enough, or when she wants more, this is enough. This is play Baby Shark for the 10,000th time. And so I babysit Sadie a lot, and I thought I would teach her the sign language I learned as a child. Oh yeah, so, you know. Oh, and the parents got upset with me. I don't understand it. They've got the only 16-month-old who speaks Italian. It's true, it's true. August is a very dramatic month for me, especially the first week, because back in 1979, I'm a big Yankee fan. August 2nd, 1979, the great Thurman Munson was killed in a plane crash. The next day, August 3rd, 1979, I suffered a personal tragedy. I got married. Oh, I came to envy Munson. For him, the end was quick. Mine took 23 years of suffering. But hey, you know what? I learned my lesson. I waited 5 weeks to remarry. Oh, she was perfect for a lawyer. Her name was Sue. But you guys humbled me. As small as the audience is, you humbled me with your applause. And it is humbling. I was humbled in a different way about a year ago. I ended up in the hospital, and that is a humbling experience. I ended up in the hospital because I had a slight bicycle accident down on the boardwalk. I ran into a parked tram car on the boardwalk, ended up in the tram car, and then they charged me $3 for the ride, and then they kicked me out because I didn't have the right change. So I spent 8 days in the ICU. And that is humbling, because you have tubes coming in, tubes coming out. You ring a bell to go to the bathroom, and they put these gowns on you. They tie in the back. They don't cover a thing. ICU has a double meaning. It means intensive care unit. It's also what your family and friends say when they come visit. They see your ass hanging out. ICU. I didn't want them seeing me. You know, I didn't want them saying, "You've got 4 broken ribs, a partially collapsed lung, a bruised heart, and a pimply ass." I would have been the most upset about the pimply ass. And if you've been in the hospital, especially with any kind of injury, you know this thing. You get asked the same question 10 times a day. You get asked, how would you rate your pain from 0 to 10? And then if you're a total idiot, we're going to give you a chart with faces on the chart to correspond with the numbers. So at 0 and at 10. And underneath it on the chart, it asks, what is your pain goal for today? My pain goal for today, tomorrow, every day, 0. And with the right drugs, I'll make it negative. And I wonder, do they get a lot of masochists in there? The guy who comes in, "Doc, my pain goal, it's a 10. I'm only at a 3. So then appendectomy, no anesthesia." And they don't read your chart. No. Lady comes in from occupational therapy, and the first thing she asks, "Sir, at home, do you use a cane or a walker?" "Hello, it was a bicycle accident. Did you think my walker got stuck in the spokes?" And I had a bruised heart. Did you know you can bruise your heart? I had no idea you could bruise your heart. And you can, apparently, but they come in to test it, they do an echocardiogram. And so they come in, they're doing the test, and if you've been in the hospital, you know how it is. They act like you're not there, they don't tell you what's going on, but they talk over you. And I hear the technician call the nurse over, and she says, doctor, or he says to the nurse, says the doctor was wrong. So now I'm listening. Yeah, the doctor was wrong. Ken might be a lawyer, but he does have a heart. Yeah, they were comedians in that hospital. It turned out my partially collapsed lung would not reinflate because I had a bowel obstruction. So the doctor comes in bright and early one morning and says, Ken, I've got your diagnosis. You're full of shit. And I said, Doc, if that was enough to get put in the ICU, this place would be filled with lawyers. Now, to any of my friends out here who have children, because I had that near-death experience, I hope you have wills and your wills are up to date and in place. And I ask you, when you leave here, go home, check your will. Make sure the beneficiaries of your will are not the same people who decide whether to pull the plug. Yeah, my daughters were talking about it. I was awake. Yeah. Now, I love comedy because it's honest. Everything you hear me talk about tonight is actually true. Because you guys can tell if a joke is set up fake. And if it's fake, you guys aren't going to pay attention to the setup, so you're not going to laugh. So if I told you that Monday night after the show, I had these 4 ladies from the show come back to my condo and we were having sex all night, you would know I was lying because we don't have a show on Monday. Right. I also love comedy because unlike the practice of law, I get immediate feedback and half the time it's actually good. And I get introduced very well by Tyler. I'm not introduced that way in the courtroom and I want to be. I want to walk in and I want to hear this. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, let's get ready to litigate. Up next, you may have seen him bring down the house in the Zimmerman divorce, and he killed in the Scott double murder. Ladies, you'll know him by the contents of his briefs. He's the one and only counsel for the defense, Ken Petrini. That's the reaction I get. That's all I can take because I am humble. I am humble. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking lawyers are a bunch of arrogant assholes. And you're absolutely right. They all are, but not me. No. I only became a lawyer for the money. I am humble. To show you how humble I am, did you say you were from Pennsylvania? Yeah. You'll understand this. I grew up poor in Scranton, Pennsylvania. That is pretty damn poor, folks. But we didn't know we were poor. We always had food on the table. I was the youngest of 3. I always had clothes on my back. Yeah, they were hand-me-downs, but my sister and I were the same size. That wasn't the problem with my sister. Oh, no, if only it was. My sister's name was Barbara. We grew up in the 60s as Barbie and Ken. Yeah. How can they do that to us? It was even worse for my brother, Skipper. But I learned humility as a result of that. I did it. And so I live a humble lifestyle now. I do have a $1 million condo up the street, but it's a humble 2 bedrooms. Does not even have a direct ocean view, side view of the ocean and the bay, overlooking the private tennis court. That is good enough for me. I even let other people play on it. Well, the ladies. And I drive 4 cars, only one's a fancy red sports car with personalized plates. I do not need to show off. My friends know how much money I have. And, hey, I play golf almost every day. I never use a caddy. Nope. Caddies are pretentious. Besides, that is why we have paralegals. But I tell you, beneath this arrogant exterior lies the heart of a candy striper. Ma'am, if you were my client and you were in the hospital, I would come visit you. I'd charge you for my time, but I'd probably charge her half price if she's on the way to the golf course. Because I'm like that. I'm the kind of guy. I love my clients. And by love, I mean I've slept with most of them. Oh, don't turn on me on that one, because you guys don't understand. You do not understand the dynamic between lawyer and client. Think of it this way. I'm always getting them off. It's only fair they return the favor. Ironically, I have slept with several of my clients because they are ex-girlfriends, which is weird. I wasn't good enough to screw them, but they hire me to screw somebody else. I do not understand it. But I'm a family law lawyer. I charge about $400 an hour, which seems like a lot, but it's really about the same as a mid-range hooker. You're right. He said without the tip, he's right. So, with me, it's not the legal equivalent of an all-nighter of kinky sex. It's more like the equivalent of a quickie with a finger up the butt. That's on me, no charge. Because that's the kind of guy I am. I'm always giving. I used to be a criminal lawyer. No, I didn't defend criminals. I was one. Well, you know when relationships go wrong and you do stupid things sometimes? Well, just a little stupid thing. Nobody really got hurt, but I spent a couple of days as a guest of the county, and I'll give you guys some advice. Is that jail sucks, especially for a lawyer, because you don't really want a roommate in jail. They're never any fun. So I'm going to give you another piece of legal advice: how to get a room to yourself if you're ever in jail. Tell them you're suicidal. They put you in a room by yourself. Now they take away all your clothes, and they only feed you finger food. But half the time at home, I'm naked, and I always eat with my fingers, so I don't care. And my daughter had to come down to bail me out. And I don't know whether you know, but on the bail application, they asked for your street name or thug name. You know, Al Capone with Scarface. And you have like Jimmy the Weasel and Joey the Fox. Well, my daughter doesn't know any better. She's filling it out, and it says street name. She puts down the name of the street that I live on. So my prison thug name is Rolling Meadow. Yeah, when your prison thug name is Rolling Meadow, you better be in solitary. Now, I told you I would be honest with you tonight, and I know you're going to find this hard to believe, but this hunk of legal humanity is single. I usually get a few laughs. Thank you. And I date online, and it's, you guys probably, you're like me, you remember the old days when we had two choices, we had men, we had women. Now it's totally different. We knew which bathroom to use. I mean, life was simpler. Now we got LGBTQ, lesbian, bisexual, gay, transsexual. What's the Q? Queer, but it's also questioning. And only questioning works in my joke. So questioning, yes, questioning. Ladies, with me, there is no questioning. No, I love all women. Straight. I've been there. I've done that. Want to do it again. Probably only 3 times a night at my age. No way now. Lesbian. Every guy has thought, oh, I'd like to date a lesbian. She might bring a friend along. Or 2. Undecided. If I have any women who are undecided between women and men, a few dates with me, you will decide. And transsexual. A lot of people are uptight about transsexuals. And I don't get it. I don't. I think that's closed-minded. The way I look at it, if she's updated the plumbing, I will rent the house. In fact, my perfect woman is a combination of all 4. She's straight, lesbian, undecided, and transsexual. My perfect woman is an SLUT. I'm waiting for the remedial spellers. You know? So, if you're still interested, you can find me on SugarDaddy.com, CashForCuddles.com, LoveForLawyers.com, and my new favorite, PenisesToVenuses.com. And I really want to hear from you. I do. Because I spend a lot of money dating women. And my friends say, don't you feel funny paying a woman to date you? No, not at all. I've been divorced twice. I view it as prepaid alimony. Besides, it's more difficult when you get older. You know, I used to be young. You know, there was a time when I would go out every night drinking, dancing, karaoke. I would go out every night, I would have a gin and tonic. Now, it's Miralax and orange juice. Yeah, I used to have a drinky poo. Now I have a drink two poo. And as you get old, things that used to start on their own, they don't start. Things that used to stop, they don't stop. And the bastards gave us a blue pill for both of them. And I'm always mixing up my Imodium and my Viagra. I don't know if I'm coming or going. And I was single at age 50. I had only been unmarried for 5 years from the time I was 21 to the time I was 50. And so it came as a major shock, because there had been a sexual revolution and I had been a prisoner of war. I wasn't ready. No, I wasn't ready for the way things were now. Dating younger women, dating ethnic women. Like, date a woman, she's got a tattoo. Another one's got a piercing. And then I met the woman with the thong. And it's like, does she have some sort of a nylon-eating bacteria? Where the hell's the rest of it? I mean, where did it go? And then there had been a minor change in feminine grooming. We had gone from the 70s to full beard to now we are lucky if it's a Hitler mustache. And I go with one girl, she looks like Charlie Chaplin. And nobody wants to go down on the little tramp. No, I think I got tough. I used to think, oh, the guys didn't like that, this is gonna get worse. But this is a true story. I dated a Chinese truck driver. Every guy should date a Chinese truck driver. Although I kept thinking that she was a bit confused where she was going, but she told me she was a long-haul driver. But no, she was a Chinese truck driver. And so she comes over, first date, she wants me to cook. And I didn't realize that I was the dessert. And we're sitting there on the sofa afterwards, and after about 30 seconds, all I see is the top of her head. Now, in my generation, you begged for 6 months, that might happen on your birthday. It didn't happen the first time you met somebody. So I'm excited. I'm very excited. So you all know what comes next. 5 seconds. And she says to me, oh, you're just like a 12-year-old. And at first I'm embarrassed. And then I'm concerned. How many 12-year-olds has she been with? And she was born in China, married in China, traditional Chinese, which means she's taught to please her man. And her husband in China had taught her that he needed 2 orgasms a night. I'm 50 at the time, 2 a week. Doable, 2 a night isn't always going to happen. But she would feel like she was inadequate if it didn't happen. So I know none of you ladies are going to give me any sympathy for this, but I had to learn how to fake an orgasm. It is not easy for men. Thank God for those little mayonnaise packets. That was also the reason why we ultimately broke up. Yeah, she was the first woman in medical history to be diagnosed with high cholesterol as an STD. Now, it's tough for lawyers because we don't have the cute pickup line that an artist has. You want to come up and see my etchings? You want to try? You want to come up and see my motions and briefs? It doesn't work. I'm trying now the truthful approach. Hey, eventually you're going to get screwed by a lawyer. You might as well enjoy it for once. I'll let you know how that one works. Okay, I want to take one little quick break here, and that's to remind you all to tip your waitress. And for those of you from Pennsylvania, not because we're cheap, but to avoid any confusion, tipping is when we take money out of our pocket. We put it on the table. It differs from cow tipping. Please leave Katie upright. You know, it's funny how I got to do this. I used to come to this show. I used to sit right there. This was my table, table 3. It was. It had a little gold reserve sign on it. And I used to come here about 10 times a year. Used to follow the normal headliner. I followed him every day on Facebook because he said that is what a fan does. But you follow them in real life, they call that stalking. So I was gone for a while, but then when I got out, the restraining order ended. He decided it was better to keep me around where he could see me, you know. As somebody once said, keep your stalkers close or something like that. So that's how I ended up doing this. And I love doing this as a result. But that wasn't my table. I just want to point it out to you. You're in a special table tonight. Now, I really wanted to do this while that couple was still here because she would have been perfect for one of these questions.
Right here.
Oh, are you still here? Oh, good, because I want you to answer this question. Your boyfriend might really... Okay, do I have any people here tonight who are married? By applause, married. Or hands. Single. How many are in committed relationships? You gotta be one of the three. Single, married, or committed relationship. That's it. I cover everything with 3 questions. I'm a good lawyer like that. How many people are here in a relationship with somebody who ought to be committed? Yeah. And the question of the night for our former front row person, do I have any nymphomaniacs with daddy issues? Any nymphomaniacs with daddy? Female, sir, female nymphomaniacs. Damn.
Yeah.
No, I'm perfect. I'm a perfect catch. I've been married twice, divorced twice. I'm a divorce lawyer. I know everything not to do. I really do. And I learned a lot from marriage. I learned about astrology. First wife, she was born in the middle of November. Makes her a Scorpio. In that divorce, I got stung. Second wife, she was born in July. She was a Cancer. She gave me crabs. I get married again, it will be a Gemini. Yeah, little twin action. Though my luck, they both will be psycho. I also learned I am not good dating women my own age. By the time you get to be about 50, you're too damn smart. You aren't. And you judge us unfairly. You judge us on things like potential, manners, chivalry. You know, on that scale, I rate about a 4 out of 10. A younger girl's gonna rate me where it counts. My credit rating. I'm an 840. So when a girl says to me, slip me something hard and black, she's talking about my Amex card. I am okay with that, I really am. But I'll tell you, when I'm not here, I do practice law, and as I told you in a little speech at the beginning, I do believe that everybody should get their money's worth, and hopefully either tonight or if you come back tomorrow and see Johnny through all of it, you think you've received your money's worth. But I remember a few years ago, Subway got in trouble because they were selling a foot-long sub. It was only 11 inches. Did you know it was a woman who measured it? Oh yeah, it was a woman. Because had it been a man, the 6-inch shorty would have been called a foot-long. And I used to eat at Friendly's all the time, and I hated the food. But they promised a happy ending with every meal. All I ever got was ice cream. And I'm lactose intolerant. But I even believe in truth in advertising in the names of stores. Ma'am, at home, do you own a stapler?
Do I what?
Own a stapler?
Yes.
Isn't it great to know you can go to any staple store in the world and you can buy staples for that stapler? So I'm wondering, what is it with these stores called the Christmas tree shops? I go in and I ask the salesman, I go, where do you have your Christmas trees? He said, well, sir, we don't sell Christmas trees at the Christmas tree shop. I said, oh yeah, I know that. I was really looking for some golf clubs. I was gonna go fishing. But you can imagine how pissed off I get every time I go into BJ's. Oh, come on, guys are obsessed. There's not a guy in here who hasn't looked at a male dog licking himself and said, if I could do that, I would not need women. Oh yeah! 40 years of trying, all I got was a bad back. You know, I don't do this all the time. I started doing this about 3 years ago. And since then, over the last 2 years, I've thrilled over 200 audiences by not doing this. But I think tonight, you guys deserve it. No, because there is a close relationship between poetry and comedy. They both rely upon meter and symbolism and visualization. And so I thought I'd do a little poetry for you tonight because you know there isn't enough of that in the world, and so just thought you might enjoy it. Let's see what we could do. How about something like "Go Not Gentle into the Dark Night"? No, that's too dark. Oh, here's one you might like. This is a story of a lovely lady who was bringing up 3 very lovely girls. They all had hair of gold, just like their mother. The youngest one was still in curls. This is the story of a man named Brady. Now, women he dated But Brady left them deflated. And they often masturbated, because through life, a closeted gay, he skated. You see, Mr. Brady was gay. He was, but we didn't know that in 1969 America, because we did not have gay people in 1969 America. We didn't. Even Liberace, we said, was flamboyant. Well, he had 3 boys of his own. They were 4 men living all together. Now, how gay is that? But they were all alone. And then one day, the lady met the fella amid a lot of television hype. And she said, hey, we should get together. Even though she wasn't his type. But you see, she needed a husband. Because we never saw Mrs. Brady do any work in 6 years of that TV show. She never left the sofa. And he needed a beard. So they decided to get married, even though that was kind of weird. Well, she grew upset because he wouldn't even rub her leg. But then she found a new love interest in his eldest son named Greg. That's a true story. Florence Henderson and the guy who played Greg. And then there was Marcia. So sweet, if you ever meet her. We don't know what she said when she first saw Greg's Peter. Now, don't be dirty about that. Peter was his brother. Did she say, hey, Pete, what's up? Did she say, Peter, pleased to meet you, how you're doing? We do not know. And then there was Alice, who always kept the house so neat. She loved Sam the butcher, who always delivered the meat. So I hope this little poem didn't cause you to lose your lunch. But that is the true story of how they became the Brady Bunch. Thank you, thank you. Good poetry, good poetry. So, when I'm not doing this and I'm not practicing law, I actually help with a small nonprofit movie theater in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. And last year, of course, we had Disney's Beauty and the Beast. Anybody see that movie last year? Do you remember that there was a controversy about a gay moment? It was like a 1/10 of a second between LeFou and Gaston, but people were all crazy about a gay moment in Beauty and the Beast. This was 127 minutes of dancing cutlery and singing candlesticks, and somebody's worried about a gay moment. Yeah. And let's see what that movie is about. A young girl gets taken captive by a beast. She suffers from Stockholm Syndrome and falls in love with the beast. So, bestiality, fine. But don't give me a gay moment. And this came to us from Disney. Disney, of course, is that company that's known for giving us that classic movie about 7 horny midgets and a drug addict. Oh, come on, you know she was doing cocaine from the name. Snow White, come on. And how did Snow White get the money for the cocaine? What did the horny midgets sing about every night on the way home? They sang about the hi-ho! Yeah. And how does that one end? She's dead. A prince comes along, starts making out with her dead, lifeless body. So necrophilia, fine. Drug abuse, I don't care, but don't give me a gay moment. And the truth is, we are far, far too concerned in this country about sexuality, sexual orientation, and political correctness. I mean, I grew up in the 60s. I remember when your parents handed you a plastic machine gun and told you to go out and kill a bunch of Krauts and Japs, because we were just a few years, right? We were just a few years removed from World War II. And I just about every day of my life got called a wop and a dago, and that was by my mother. But that was okay. You know? And I used to play with G.I. Joe. Because I loved my G.I. Joe. Then we got women's rights. We got G.I. Jane. Now, we have non-binary genders, and we got gender fluidity. This year, Hasbro is coming out with a brand new toy. Gee, I don't know. But I do know you guys are a great audience. I'm Kevin Petrini. Thank you so much. Welcome, Tyler, back.